Hello everybody, my name is Cameron Earl, and today I am back with another video, and I am back at the same place where my last video left off, right in front of Mortimer's little cult house that he has. So in the last video, I started my playthrough ranking, I'm gonna call it, where I play the bosses, I play 5 bosses per video, and I rank them. I play them in the order that I rank them. So, we're doing 20 through 16 today. I need to think about this, actually. I need to actually think about this. So, if I had to think of a boss that's my least favorite right now, who's worse than the ones in the last video, I actually have a pretty good idea. I know who three of these bosses at least have to be. So we're just gonna take a stroll to aisle 2, where number 20 awaits us. Let's see how many deaths I have on this file. Might reminds you, 1,698 times. Oh boy. That's okay. The one friend I know has 5,000 something, I think. So I'm not there yet. Okay. So number 20 and 19 are actually tied. So, number 20/19, I hate to do it, I really do, but it has to be the Jimmy. He's fun, don't get me wrong, he's a fun boss. But when I compare him to every boss except the next one in my mind, he's just not that good. I honestly think that this first phase is his hardest part on Expert. On Expert, this is definitely the hardest part of his boss battle. Gonna unload an EX in there just real quick. I can't really pinpoint. I think what makes me hate this guy is his Expert mode. I'm not playing them on Expert or ranking them on difficulty, but just playing this guy on Expert just infuriates me. And it completely changes my opinion of this boss. But I mean, I never really favored this boss in the first place. Now that I think about it, I actually think that this guy's the number 19 spot, and the other boss that I had him tied with is going to be the number 20 spot. But nevertheless, they're close enough to each other. I think the Jimmy the Great's actually supposed to be just a little bit higher. So what changed my opinion was obviously Expert. What do I find fun about it? Well, the most fun part is this phase. I think what makes it also kind of, it drags on a little bit, being the fact that it is probably, the longest fight in the game aside from King Dice. This fight is long. There is just so many phases to this fight, and 3 of them in particular aren't the most interesting, being this one, the stacking one, and the one where you fight as stacks, and the first phase. But the Cuphead phase is great, and the sarcophagus phase is just alright. But when I don't have a reason why I put him this low, but when I literally think of every single boss at all, this one came almost immediately to my mind as the one that had to be here. But at the same time, I said that he is dang near almost tied with the next one. And the next one, unfortunately, we're heading right up here to Wally, Warbles, and Aviary Action. Number 20. The Jimmy Grace number 19. I decided midway through the boss battle that the Jimmy's just a tiny bit better than Wally Warbles. This guy, his boss just isn't interesting, honestly. But of course, it's also blatantly easy. It's that one boss that's like super easy, and then you get to expert mode, and suddenly your whole life flashes before your eyes. This guy is definitely the hardest boss on expert, period. That's why my extra S-rank video hasn't come out yet of him. Because I really don't feel like doing it. I will eventually, but it doesn't mean I feel like it. No, honestly, screw this guy. He could keep his expert mode shtick away from me. Yeah, I don't know why they amped up this difficulty so much on expert, but he's just overly easy and not that interesting. Like, the only phase that's the only phase that's bad is this phase. It drags on way too much, in my opinion. Like, way too much. It just takes so long. Unless you're literally right up in his business. And then this phase is kind of RNG based, in the fact that, you know, some of this stuff is going to be hard to dodge because you have such a tight frame of movement that you have to stay in. And then this a-hole bird on the left over here goes right to the wall, and like you can't be in your happy place no more. But yeah, that's Wally. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to bait that on expert, not even with the parry ring. Yes, I do lose 6 health on expert because it took me a decent while to S-rank him. But the thing is, after S-ranking him, I never tried to S-rank him again. So I haven't had that much practice. But yes, Wally takes the number 20 spot, the Jimmy takes the number 19 spot. I hate to put what's once my favorite world so far down, but I guess that's just the way it's going to have to be. So we are but yeah, Wally Warbles is definitely my least favorite airplane fighting game. I didn't mean to click Inkwell Isle 4. No, you're not going to see an Inkwell Isle 4 boss for a while, trust me. Especially not 2 of the Inkwell Isle 4 bosses, for sure. Inkwell, I don't know why I was thinking different numbers. Inkwell Isle 1, we're going to Inkwell Isle 1. So, where I'm going next, there is a particular boss in World 1 that I think doesn't deserve to be in World 1. Especially on expert. For this boss, I like to take auto parry, super 1, spread shot, and roundabout. This boss is the Titan Tadpoles, Rivian Croaks, and Clip Joint Calamity. These guys are definitely the hardest IL1 bosses. These are difficult. For a first-time player, I can see why this boss would easily be the most difficult. And honestly, I think the frogs' designs themselves are really interesting. But where the boss kind of kills it is the second phase. The second phase is extraordinarily uninteresting and easy. This phase is kind of a joke too for some portions. Of course, this is your only chance for parries, so you got to make sure you make those worth it. But the reason why it's so difficult, the freaking last phase. Oh my god, the last phase is straight hell. Like, holy crap. I didn't know that they would put a phase like the third phase of this fight in World 1. It's difficult. That's all I really have to say about it. It just doesn't seem like a phase that would belong in an IL1 boss fight. But hey, it does, and they put it in there. But where the first phase is overly easy for while the first phase is average for starting players, and the second phase is easy for starting players. Like, the fan literally helps. And the third phase is overly difficult for new players. I can have enough fun with this boss. The theme is real good, but I think it's honestly overrated. Like, I've never had this theme as one of my favorites. It's good, but I just see everyone favorite it, and it's like, it's that one theme that's, I think, is the overrated of the bunch. Now, this boss wouldn't be so bad if you just kept getting snakes and bulls, but I keep getting the taggers on expert. It's my luck. I think it's really creative. I actually think one of the best animations in the game comes from this boss, and that's when Croaks turns into a fan. I think that's probably one of the best moments of animation in the game, period. Just the way he puts his legs together, and it matches so perfectly with the shape of a fan. So yeah, number 18 spot goes to Ribby and Croaks. So now, who is going to take the number 17 spot? Well, if I had to think, the next two spots goes to two bosses in aisle 3. And I can guess who is going to be those two. So, just a hint of my loadout. Lobbers should already give you... It should already count one of those bosses out, but it should also give you what the next boss is. Lobber and Crackshot with Super 1. Super 1 is like a necessity if you're playing with Chalice. No. Number 17 goes to Her Majesty, Rumor Honeybottoms, the Honey Hive Queen herself. She's the queen of an office building. So I see this boss at a lot of the bottom of a lot of people's lists. And I get it because the platforms do kind of suck. Especially like if you're trying to get right up in her face in her second phase and hit her. And you can't do that because there's just no platforms near her. Which is why I say bring a homing weapon. Another reason I say bring a homing weapon is obviously because of the last phase. But the homing weapon also works if you need to, like, see, right here, right, if you want to get right up here and do all the damage you can. You really can't. Another thing with this boss, this is actually just a me problem. I cannot, for the life of me, remember to use an EX move in the first phase most of the time. Yeah, look at the sheer number of platforms that are not on my side. This is all, it's random in a bad way. Here she goes, transforming. Now, one of the best things about this boss is that, like I did when I broke her in my one video, you can actually completely break the boss and just kill her before she transforms. This is why I like Super 1, because it just goes right down into her face. Definitely one of the more difficult bosses in the game for first-time players. I don't have nearly as much problem with her anymore. Like, there's some characters that I still have there's some bosses I still have a large problem beating, and that's like Grim Matchstick. Grim Matchstick, I'm not good at his last phase, man. Grim Matchstick's last phase is so freaking difficult. I think it's the most difficult thing in this game. But overall, I think she's an overly hated boss, but that's not to say that some of the hate on her boss is not justified, in my opinion. I definitely think that she should have been put together better, like the weird RNG with those platforms, like you saw it. There was no platforms on my side. So for this next boss, I like to take Crackshot and Roundabout. Honestly, this is my loadout. Crackshot and Roundabout, that's it. And most of the time, the Cookie. But I also like Super 3 for this next boss. Taking the number 16 spot, I honestly hate to do it to you, buddy, but Captain Brinybeard and Shootin' and Lootin' is going to be number 16 on my list. I don't know what it is, but it's just... I mean, the theme is decent. I didn't really touch on the theme in Rumor Honeybottoms. Rumor Honeybottoms, for being one of the more slow-paced songs, I actually really like it. I think it works for the type of theme it's going for. This theme's pretty cool, but the theme actually like gets not so great towards the end, or like towards the middle of the fight. Totally wasted parry. There we go. So I don't need to worry about the shark. But this boss is indeed really cool, don't get me wrong. But it's just not a boss that it was just that one boss that I don't think of when I think of Cuphead. I don't know how he's not switching yet. There it goes. But the other thing here is just how boring this last phase is. I feel like the ship could have done a lot more with himself. I got hit like a dingus. But yeah, it's just that middle of the barrel, get it? It's just that middle of the barrel boss. It has its flaws, it has its strengths, but overall nothing exceeds, but both sides don't exceed the other in any way. It's just mid. I like the boss, but there's no way it'll become my favorite, pretty much. But, yep. As the ranking stands so far, from 25 to 16, we got Baroness von Bonbon, Sally Stageplay, Goopy Legrande, the Root Pack, Mortimer Freeze, the Wally Warbles, the Jimmy the Great, Rivian Croaks, Rumor Honeybottoms, Captain Brinybeard. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I'll see you in part 3. Bye-bye.